And we continue learning Musar Yomi each and every day. Baruch Hashem, concluding our first week. Hopefully we'll already see that a little bit of focus, a few minutes each day, that what it could do for ourselves, for our families, how it could slowly start us putting our focus on Hashem, Avas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, and Tikkun Amidas. And today we're going to conclude the Hakdama, conclude the introduction of this famous sefer of Mesilas Yesharim. And says the Mesilas Yesharim, the Ramchal Ahava, discussing Avas Hashem, as yesterday he quoted a pasuk which had 5 entities. Yesterday we spoke about Yiras Hashem and Halicha Bidrachav, going in the way of Hashem. And today we continue and we're going to discuss Avas Hashem, Shleimus Alev, and Shmiras Kol HaMitzvahs. And says the Ramchal Ahava She'enikva Believa Adam Ahava Ilav Yisbarach. What is Ahava? What is loving Hashem that you should put in your heart? That you love, and that's ingrained in your heart, until the point. How do you know that you love someone? That your heart is this inspired, is this it awakens to do what? To do Hashem's call. Just like you always want to do something good for your father, your mother, because you love them. And you're in pain. If someone's not acting properly towards your parents, it bothers you. So too, that's the point that we're driving to in Avas Hashem. And you're very happy when someone does something good for someone you love. So too, when someone does something good for Hashem. And he continues with the 4th, is Shleimus Alev. What is Shleimus? To be Shalem, to be complete in your life, in your heart. That the service of Hashem should be with purity. Kavana, that is tahar, pure motives. Dahainu, letachlis avodasa bilvad. That why are we serving Hashem? For one purpose. For Hashem himself and nothing else. No other motive, including this, that your heart should be complete in his service. And not someone that is paiseach, that he bounces on 2 sides. Sometimes he does do for someone, sometimes he doesn't. No. When we're working for one singular focus, one motive called God, it's 100%. Or if someone does something out of habit, out of rote, that's as well not real pure motives, not serving Hashem with the proper kavanah. Perhaps the most difficult of all, to have your heart entirely to Hashem. And finally, Shmiras Kol HaMitzvahs K'mashmai. What does it mean to watch all the mitzvahs as it sounds? Shmiras Kol HaMitzvahs Kulam, to watch all the mitzvahs. B'chol diktukim u'tanayim, with all their diktukim, with all their details and requirements. V'hine, Kol ila klon shichlin pirish kadol. Each and every one of these 5 entities that we're talking about, we need to explain them in great depth. And says the Ramchal, we found that Chazal themselves, that it took these 5 elements and it put them into an organized fashion and it categorized them a bit more specific. And it broke it down in the Sudr Lafiyah Hadroga Mitzaraches. It made it into rungs like a ladder. But to acquire these 5. So to get these 5 critical character traits, which is the greatest way in our service of Hashem, says the Ramchal, says the Mesilas Yesharim, the Chachamim Chazal broke it down a bit further. This is a Braisa that is brought in numerous places in the Gemara. And one of them is in Mesechus Avodah Zarah, Zel L'Shoiner. Mikan Amar Pinchas ben Yair. From here, says Pinchas ben Yair, a very, very famous Braisa. But let's realize that this Braisa is a ladder to climb up rung after rung to get to where? These 5 items that we spoke about yesterday and today. That Torah Mivela de Zehiras. Learning Torah brings the Zehiras, and each of these entities we're not going to really describe or explain, because Mesilas Yesharim is going to have full chapters at length and at depth, explaining each and every one of these items. Zehiras, vigilance. Zehiras, maybe the Zerizas, alacrity. Zerizas, maybe the Nikias, alacrity brings you to cleanliness. Nikias, maybe the Precious, abstinence. Precious, maybe the Tahira, Precious brings you to purity. Tahira, maybe the Chasidus, piety. Chasidus, maybe the Anava, humility. Anava, maybe the Yeres Chet, fear of sin. Yeres Chet, maybe the Kedusha, holiness. Kedusha, maybe the Ruach HaKodesh. And Ruach HaKodesh, maybe the Tzchias HaMesim. So in reality, if someone climbs this ladder, absolute 100%, he gets all the way to Tchias HaNesim. Based on this brisa, I decided, says Mesilas Yesharim, to write this work. L'lami la'atzmi, to teach myself. And to remind others. The requisites for complete service of Hashem. We conclude the Aktama, we conclude today's shir. And I'm going to explain each and every one of these levels, its ideas and its details. Say some how to require it, number one. And what are the entities that cause you to lose that level? And number three, and once you get there, how to stay there. So how to get there, not to lose it, and how to stay there. I wrote it so I and anyone else can read it. So we'll know to love Hashem, to fear Hashem. We won't forget our obligations to Hashem. And as he explained all the way back from day one, the chamias, the physicalities of the world around us, sucks us away from this. Reading it and thinking about it will bring it to our mind, and awaken us to do these mitzvahs. And he concludes with a tefillah, and Hashem should be in our aspirations, and he should protect us from falling. And the heart and the plea of David HaMelech should be fulfilled within us. Hashem, please teach me your ways, so I can travel with you, dedicate my heart to fear you. Amen. With that, we conclude our first week of working on ourselves, of learning Musar together in Mesilas Yesharim. And with that tefillah, we mimic that Amir Hashem, learning together should slowly but surely teach us how to travel in the truth way of Hashem, to dedicate our heart. Amen.